नमस्कार। श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृत कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिरीडितं कर्मशापहं श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदादतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृतो प्रथम भाग चतुर्थ खंडो प्रथम परिच्छेद. We are continuing our reading from the first chapter of the fourth section of Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita, first volume, and various devotees like Ram Basu, Sri M, and Vijay Krishna Goswami and other Brahmo devotees, they have come to Sri Ramakrishna on this Thursday. Now, as we have seen that Sri M had specifically mentioned that usually Sri Ramakrishna's room is flooded with people, with the crowd on Sundays, holiday. A lot of people come, they to have his darshan, to touch his feet and all those things. But the genuine seekers of the truth, the ultimate truth, they come on weekdays when there is not much of a rush. Only these few devotees and their Thakur Sri Ramakrishna. They have that one-to-one conversation on all it is a hardcore spiritual talk. That is the time when these people come to meet the Sri Ramakrishna on the weekdays. And this being a Thursday, now there are very few people like Sri M had mentioned Vijay Krishna Goswami, Balaram Basu, Sri M himself, and three, four other Brahmo devotees who have accompanied Vijay Krishna Goswami. And yesterday we saw how beautifully Sri M has explained the scenario. These people, they are sitting at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna facing the western door of his room, overlooking the Holy Mother branches. And that cold on the winter afternoon, Mother Ganga is flowing, and cool and calm waters, as if they're washing the feet of the temple of the Divine Mother very happily. So that is what Sri M had explained to us yesterday in his typical poetic way of narration. And today Sri M is going to tell us about Vijay Krishna Goswami. What kind of person he is? He is a great devotee. And under what circumstances he has come under the influence of Sri Ramakrishna. He has great respect, great regard for Sri Ramakrishna. And if we see the background of Sri Ramakrishna's intimate devotees, they all have a tremendous amount of hidden spirituality. And like the stone, Parasmani, philosopher's stone, which turns an ordinary, iron metal into gold, provided there is a golden stuff inside. So, like philosopher's stone, these people, they come to Sri Ramakrishna, touch his feet, and they themselves get turned into gigantic spiritual personalities. So, Sri M is going to tell us about Vijay Krishna Goswami's background that we will read out today, and then we will go to the actually in the next reading we will go to the main theme of this particular first chapter of the fourth section. That if an enlightened person, if a liberated soul, if a liberated person casts away his body, is it considered a suicide? So that we will. But today we will get to know Vijay Krishna Goswami in more intimate details as described by Sri M. শীতকাল এই চকলের গায়ে গরম কাপড়. This is winter, so everybody is dressed in warm winter clothing. Warm clothing fit for winter. বিজয় শূল বেদনায় দারুণ যন্ত্রণা পান। Vijay Krishna Goswami is suffering from colic pain. তাই সঙ্গে শিশি করিয়া ঔষধ আনিয়াছেন, ঔষধ সেবনের সময় হইলে খাইবেন। Vijay Krishna Goswami is suffering from colic pain in the abdomen, and therefore he has carried with him সঙ্গে শিশি করিয়া ঔষধ আনিয়াছেন. He has carried with him a bottle of the medicine for that pain. ঔষধ সেবনের সময় হইলে খাইবেন. He will take that medicine when the time to take that medicine arrives. So that whatever is the prescribed timing, at that time he will take the medicine from that medicine bottle. বিজয় এখন সাধারণ ব্রাহ্ম সমাজের একজন বেতনভোগী আচার্য. Now he is a acharya, he's a preacher, salaried preacher. Now he has been appointed as a salaried preacher by Sadharan Brahmo Samaj. And সমাজের বেদির উপর বসিয়া তাহাকে উপদেশ দিতে হয়. He has taken up a job. Now he is not a dignified Brahmo leader as such. No, he is a salaried preacher, and his duty is give sermons from the of the Sadharan Brahmo Samaj. That is his duty, that is his salaried job. তবে এখন সমাজের সহিত নানা বিষয়ে মতভেদ হইতেছে. Now recently, with the changes in the ideology of the Brahmo Samaj, there have been a lot of differences between Vijay and the leaders of the Sadharan Brahmo Samaj. কর্ম স্বীকার করিয়াছেন, কি করেন? But what can he do with all those differences? He has taken up this paid job, salaried job. He has no other alternative than just meekly see what all differences are there. No grudge, nothing. Whatever grudge is there, keep it to yourself. Don't open up your mouth. Just do your duty sincerely, without opening the mouth, and undergoing all these differences of opinions calmly. So that is what. Now it is a salaried job. He doesn't have any say in the matters of Sadharan Brahmo Samaj. কি করেন? What to do? স্বাধীন ভাবে কথাবার্তা বা কার্য করতে পারেন না. Now he doesn't have any say. Even if he sees something not correct, his opinion, there is no way that he can comment upon it, because he doesn't have any voice. He doesn't have any voice in the workings of Sadharan Brahmo Samaj. He can't express his independent views. He cannot act on if anything is going wrong. No. Only he has to just observe everything and forbear whatever is happening. Now, Vijay Krishna Goswami has got a wonderful ancestry. Vijay অতি পবিত্র বংশে. Vijay comes from a very pious family of whom Advaita Goswamir বংশে জন্ম গ্রহণ করিয়াছেন. He has taken birth in a very pious family belonging to Advaita Goswami. Who is Advaita Goswami? Advaita Goswami জ্ঞানী ছিলেন, নিরাকার পরব্রহ্মের চিন্তা করিতেন, আবার ভক্তির প্রকাশটা দেখাইয়া গিয়াছেন. Now, Advaita Goswami, he was a staunch believer of follower of Nirakar Parameshwar, the formless entity of Lord Atman, Brahmagami. Hmm. Uh, at the same time, Abar, in spite of being a staunch follower, believer of formless God, ভক্তির পরাকাষ্ঠা দেখাইয়া গিয়াছেন. He also had tremendous, he had displayed highest intensity of divine love, divine fervor. It's not that he was a dry Brahmajnani. He also had divine love. He also had great devotion. Why this great devotion? Because he ভগবান চৈতন্য দেবের একজন প্রধান পার্ষদ. He was one of the foremost and intimate disciples of Lord Sri Chaitanya Deva, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was Vijay Krishna Goswami's ancestor, Advaita Goswami. Of course, his name was Advaita. He was the follower of formless God. But he also was a great admirer of the path of devotion, of the path of love, of divine love, because he was a very intimate and very close disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who preached and set into practice this particular tradition of chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, love of God. So, Hari Preme Matoyara Hoya Nritya Kuriten, getting intoxicated in the divine love for God, he used to even start dancing like Sri Chaitanya. Although a follower of formless aspect of the God, Advaita, he also used to dance and sing the glories of God, merged into the divine glories and splendors of the God. এত আত্মাহারা হইতেন যে নৃত্য করিতে করিতে পরিধান বস্ত্র খসিয়া যাইত. And he used to get absorbed in that devotional singing and dancing so much that he didn't have even the consciousness about his wearing clothes. His wearing cloth used to just drop down on the ground in that spiritual fervor, in that spiritual mood, in that spiritual delight. He was unaware of what is happening in the surroundings. The cloth he used to wear, that used to get loose and fall down on the floor, on the ground. He was unaware of it. So much his mind would get plunged into the divine Leela of the Lord, singing the divine glories of the Lord. বিজয় ব্রাহ্ম সমাজে বসিয়াছে, নিরাকার ব্রহ্মের চিন্তা করেন. Now, like his ancestor Advaita Goswami, Vijay also, being a follower of the Brahmo Samaj, he meditates upon, he thinks about Nirakar Parabrahma, the formless aspect of the Lord. He meditates on formless God. He doesn't believe, he is not a believer of the idols and like the ordinary devotees. But again, like his ancestor Advaita Goswami, কিন্তু মহাভক্ত পূর্বপুরুষ শ্রী অদ্বৈতের শোণিত দমনী মধ্যে প্রবাহিত হইতেছিল. But he had the blood of his ancestor Advaita Goswami flowing in his veins and arteries. He had that highly enlightened ancestral inheritance. That the blood he was carrying belonged to, in the family, belonged to Advaita Goswami, who was on the one side a staunch Advaiti, as well as the one who would get merged in the God's ecstasy while dancing and chanting Lord's name, totally unawares, even if his wearing cloth has fallen down. That kind of devotion also he had. And In such family lineage, Vijay Krishna Goswami has taken birth. He is, yes, outwardly he is a Brahmo. He believes in formless God, like his ancestor, whose blood is flowing through his veins and arteries. He also has that inclination towards divine love. শরীর মধ্যস্থিত হরি প্রেমের বীজ এখন প্রকাশোন্মুখ কেবল কাল প্রতীক্ষা করিতেছে. That, that seed, that seed of devotion for the divine feet of the Lord, that seed is just started sprouting and waiting for the right time to blow it, get it blown fully. Seed has just started germinating. Seed is there very much. It is a bit dormant, but it is just waiting for the time to sprout and take a shape of the beautiful, serene, divine tree for the love of the lotus feet of the Lord. Now, the time is waiting for that seed to get sprouted and get converted into a fully developed tree of devotion. Just a matter of time. তাই তিনি ভগবান শ্রী রামকৃষ্ণ দেবের দেব দুর্লভ হরিপ্রেমে গোর মাতয়ারা অবস্থা দেখিয়া মুগ্ধ হইয়াছেন. That's why now that seed of devotion is there in his heart, in his blood it is flowing. Thanks to Advaita Goswami, his ancestor, who was the follower and the intimate disciple of Sri Chaitanya. That seed of devotion is just waiting to blow to its fullest. And therefore, তিনি ভগবান শ্রী রামকৃষ্ণের দেব দুর্লভ হরিপ্রেমে গোর মাতয়ারা অবস্থা দেখিয়া মুগ্ধ হইয়াছেন. That's why when he sees Sri Ramakrishna's dancing, chanting the name of the Hari, chanting the name of the Lord, chanting the name of the Divine Mother, and he sees that state of Sri Ramakrishna in that divine fervor, totally ecstatic, unaware of his surroundings, unaware of his self, just getting merged himself into the identity of his chosen ideal. And Vijay Krishna Goswami sees such a state of Sri Ramakrishna in that ecstatic mood, in that divine fervor. Mukta hoyachen. He's just he loves to see that form. He has fallen in love to see that form of Sri Ramakrishna when he enters such spiritual fervor. He gets such spiritual fervor, and that is why he is so much charmed. He gets ultimate delight in seeing Sri Ramakrishna in that mood. Like in our last reading, we had seen Sri Ramakrishna dancing, taking the name of the Divine Lord. That semi-annual festivities at the Sinti of the Brahmo Samaj, Sinti Brahmo Samaj, and all the Brahmo devotees dancing around Sri Ramakrishna, encircling Sri Ramakrishna and chanting the name of the Lord. So Vijay Krishna Goswami is very much charmed to see that state of Sri Ramakrishna in the divine fervor. মন্ত্রমুগ্ধ সর্প যেমন ফোনা ধরিয়া সাপুড়ের কাছে বসিয়া থাকে, বিজয় রমহংস দেবের শ্রীমুখ নিঃসৃত ভাগবত শুনিতে শুনিতে মুগ্ধ হইয়া তাহার নিকটে বসিয়া থাকেন. Sri M is equating Vijay Krishna Goswami's condition with a charmed snake. Says the charmed snake snake has got real good stuff in him. But then the snake charmer puts that charm on the snake. How docile that snake becomes. Just just like an absolute obedient child. He becomes so quiet. He becomes so calm that he will mantramugdha. It's he charmed by that charm of snake charmer. He will just sit at his feet, in a very calm manner. Hmm. In the same way, Vijay Krishna Goswami, Vijayo Paramahansa Dever Srimukh Vishrut Bhagavad Shunite, listening to the talk about the Divine Lord. The same way, Sri Vijay Krishna Goswami also such a learned person and a great devotee. He will sit at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna, listening to Sri Ramakrishna's talk about God, mukta hoya, absolutely charmed by that talk. তাহার নিকটে বসিয়া থাকেন. He will just sit at his feet, listening to the divine talk from the holy lips of Sri Ramakrishna, and he will just sit at his side. আবার যখন তিনি হরিপ্রেমে বালকের ন্যায় নৃত্য করিতে থাকেন, বিজয়ও তাহার সঙ্গে নাচিতে থাকেন. And when Sri Ramakrishna ultimately he gets into that ultimate mood of divine fervor, he starts dancing, chanting the name of the Lord. Vijay Krishna Goswami also can't resist. He also automatically gets into that mood and starts dancing, chanting the name of the Lord, accompanying Sri Ramakrishna. What a great fortune! That Lord himself dancing, chanting his name. And devotee Vijay also getting into the similar spiritual fervor, in the divine fervor, also started chanting the name and dancing with this divine personality, this saint, this incarnation of today's age. So that is the background of Sri Vijay Krishna Goswami. A highly spiritual, ancestral inheritance he has in his blood. Therefore, while being a staunch believer of formless aspect of God, he also, like his forefather, like his ancestor Advaita Goswami, he also is charmed to see this divine fervor of Sri Ramakrishna. It is not that being a believer of formless aspect, he just shuns the devotional part of loving God. No, he also equally participates, and especially after seeing Sri Ramakrishna's dancing, he also joins Sri Ramakrishna in that divine state and starts dancing with Sri Ramakrishna. So that is the great, heritage that Vijay Krishna Goswami has carried with him, and he is enjoying the company of Sri Ramakrishna, getting fully charmed about his divine aspect. So that was a wonderful description Sri M provided us about Sri Vijay Krishna Goswami. So we stop our reading for the day here. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaaya. Sri Ramakrishna Namaste. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swami.